Hi everyone, welcome to my first art vlog. I had been thinking about shooting these art vlogs since a long time now, but here it is finally. This one is for my subscribers and supporters. Thank you guys. So I begin with my canvas unboxing and gathering all my essentials. So as you have already seen, I'm gonna paint a beach scenery. Just wanted to go to beaches, have always loved them. But due to my 9 to 5 job, it's now becoming almost impossible. But why not paint one? So let's begin. What I have in my mind is to paint a very quiet sunset by the beach. I love those warm yellows, oranges, and the scarlets. And I'll be using my pretty Mont Marte acrylic sets. Always excited to use them. I'll begin with the blues for the sky. With a very nice and even coat, I'll begin painting the sky, and it's gonna be really pretty. And since it means yellows and oranges and the warmth, so I begin with my pretty orange and my darling yellow. This one is orange yellow that I have been using, and orange is simply orange. To be very honest, somehow this transition became extremely difficult at a point, and it was because of a mistake I made. So if you see, given the space that I have allotted for the sky, the blue should have actually stopped a bit above than it is stopping right now. It is right now a bit more down than it should have been. So there should have been a bit more space for the warm colors of the sunset. But finally I handled this transition by using some lighter shades of oranges and some whites to merge both of them. Now since the background is set, I'll start with painting the clouds. And yes, these are the shades I'll be using. I begin painting the clouds and I start with this medium shade of color Acrylico. And to be fair, clouds are not that difficult to paint if you know the technique. I mean, of course, there are some random fluffy shapes that you need to draw and whatever comes to your mind. But once I'm done with the boundary, I'll fill in with a lighter shade of orange and also extend this lighter shade to the area where the sun would come. After that, I'll paint the boundaries with a darker shade, and for the darker shades I'm using browns here, if you see. So the exact name I have given down below for the Mont Marte, and I'll do the outlining and all the depths of the clouds using these darker shades. So even a more darker shade, which I'm using right now to give even more depth and like to distinguish between the different cloud shapes. I'm actually adding some lighter boundary this time. I literally have no answer as to why I am doing this, but I just did it this time. Like every time something new comes to my mind and I just try to implement it, it's one of those things. Coming to paint the sea now. Right now I'm skipping some part of the sky, which I'll come back to paint later. Of course, the sun is missing as you can see here. The setting sun is the most important part of the sky, but I'll just add it afterwards. And right now I'll paint the sea portion, and if you see, I'm going to paint it layer by layer. I'll fill in the required shades of blue, going from the darker to the lighter shades, always transitioning, which I always love to do too. Because the ocean cannot be blue entirely, because the sun rays are gonna fall on the water surface, and therefore I need to add the warm shades to reflect those. The colors I'm using are brilliant red, crimson, orange, and the Acrylico. I'll be giving the outline of the darker shades in the layers outside and then filling it with the lighter ones like the oranges here. Also, I'm gonna define all the layers by a bit darker shades. Back to paint the sky, I'll be drawing a little semicircle with white for the sun. So people who just oppose the idea of using pure white can simply add a bit and hint of lightest yellows to make this particular color, which will actually be very light enough to show the sun, and adding some rays which are going through the clouds, of course using the lightest of yellows. As I said, I'm going to add more yellow and lighter shades to the water surface to reflect the falling rays of the sun. For them, I'm using these shades pale yellow and the lemon yellow from my Marte acrylic paint sets. These are the lightest shades that are available in this particular set. Coming to paint the sand area, I'm starting with the shade of burnt umber, and I'll start from the corners and go towards the water surface, and then I'll blend it with the lightest shade, which one is burnt sienna again, and finally I'm adding some darker shades, which one is raw umber this time, to add some rocks and show all the details of sands here and there. uh, Once done with all of this, I'll be using the lighter ochre. If I'm not wrong, let me just check what's the name. I think it's yellow ochre to finish with the sand area and giving more details. And of course, whenever I imagine beaches, there are palms for sure, so I'll paint them too. A few of them above the rock area here and there. I'll be adding some sun rays falling over the leaves to these trees. With some finishing touches, I complete this look. I really enjoyed painting this one, and this brings me to the end of my first art vlog. I really loved how it has turned out. It is something that I had envisioned when I started working. If you guys did like it, just do tell me below. Please comment and subscribe. This was one for my supporters, but I'll be adding many more. Uh, if this one works, I'll surely be adding many more. Hoping to see you guys again very soon. Bye bye.